right? So where I takes care about multiple cybersecurity initiatives. So yeah, so the today's session, in this session, it's a class one. Consider it as a class one. It's not okay. And the regarding the course duration and all, I'm going to tell you, like we're going to cover. It's like a 27 hours of program, right? 27 hours of program where we are going to cover basics, right? Basics on administration, development, integrations, and simply. These are the couple of things that we are going to take care about throughout the 27 hours program. So yeah, so that's about me. So could you go ahead and introduce yourself, please? I just wanted to have a quick note. Yeah. I have two people here so far. If can you go ahead and introduce yourself, please? Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, Vijay. Meet here.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, so this is Amit here and I'm completely a fresher in this field.
Your voice is not clear. Yeah?
Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Oh yeah, I can hear you. But your voice is
So
not clear. It's not. It's breaking. Yeah.
maybe my mic is not proper. Sorry.
Okay. It's Amit, right? Is this
Yes, yes.
Amit? I'm talking.
Amit.
Yeah. Okay. I know. Yeah. Okay. So how about the second participant? Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
This is Soumya. I'm having a 7+ years experience. Currently, my working domain is IBM BPM, but we are trying a new tool, so that's why we have come up with ServiceNow, where we want to explore more about ServiceNow and know how we can you use it in our domain.
So it's for your own internal project. Right? So they are expanding. Yeah.
Uh, yes, we are
Okay.
expanding.
Okay. They are expanding. So okay. Very good. Very good. Okay. Good. I'm expecting a couple of participants more. That do we have Ramesh? I can see a third participant. Can you help me with your name, please? Yeah. Hello. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Hey, can you hear me? Who's the third participant that we see? Hello. Guys, rest of Amit, can you hear my voice? Am I audible?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes.
All right. Okay. All right. Let's talk about.
Hello, Vijay sir. Did you hear
Yeah.
me?
Can you hear? Yeah, I can hear you. Ramesh, right? Is that Ramesh? Whatever. Okay. ServiceNow. What is ServiceNow? That's where that's an important thing that you want to know, right? So,
Yeah,
can you help
yes.
me understand? Yeah, can you help me understand what is ServiceNow? And do you have any prior understanding about what is ServiceNow, etc.? Yeah.
ServiceNow is a ticketing tool. It is whenever we have a problem, we raise a ticket, and when it will goes to different department like incident, problem, change, and it will be in knowledge. Then come back to whatever the problem that will be resolved. Then it is closed. In between, the services will be offered by the ServiceNow. What we pay, we will get the service.
Wonderful. Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. So let me give you a book definition, right? So before we go to book definitions, let me talk to you more about the what is ServiceNow. So in fact, before I go what is ServiceNow, I just want to tell you what is IT, right? So we will talk about this first. What is IT? Information technology, correct? IT means what? Information technology. Okay. So one thing you bear in mind, right? So one thing you bear in mind is you take any technology across your information technology. You take any technology, .NET, Java, cyber security, yeah, ABC, any solution that you wanted to figure out, right? Every solution every solution will work around a term called data or information, correct? Whatever the technology you wanted to go. You wanted to go to ServiceNow, Jira, or CyberArk, Psychotic, .NET, Java, or PHP, Jelly, some UI, robotics, everything. You take any of the technology. What it does, it play around with the data, right? It play around with the data. So the technology that we used to save the data, create the data, delete the data, dispose the data, handle the data, manage the data, secure data. You take any technology. Technologies will work together. Some technologies work on creating data. Some technologies work on disposing. Some technologies work security. Some technology will work manage the data. Some technology will work, something else. So anything that you take that will roam around the term called information or data, right? So that will be an information technology. And what is information technology? Information technology is to manage our information. That's a difference of different technologies we have. That's information technology. So always remember, in the information technology, we will have two types of organizations always, right? On a high level. Right? What is the two types of organization? Which is product-based organizations, service-based organization. Okay. So what is the difference between the product-based organization or service-based organization? Product-based organization is nothing but they will have their own product. They will have their own product, right? Something like if you talk about Apple. Apple is what? They are a company who manufactured that product, right? They are a company who manufactured that product. Something like Rapiscan, right? So these are the company who manufactured the Rapiscan product, right? So they don't worry about, they always worry about giving a solid product to their customers, right? Giving a solid product to their customers. They will work 24 hours on to make sure the product is very, very good, right? So that people buy more products and they will be in profit side. So service based organizations. What is service based organization is? A service-based organization is something manage the services. Okay, manage the services. So let me ask you this, right? What do you mean by service? Okay. So what do you mean by service? A service. Okay. So service means, let's say you bought a car. let's say let's say we talk about Apple only. Let's say there is a person called Mr. John Lu. Mr. John. What he did, he bought an Apple phone. He worked at he used that phone. He spent like $1,000 on that phone, and he started using that phone. After 60 days or 90 days, not even 3 months, the phone started giving him problem. Okay. So what is the first thing that we will do? Right? What is the first thing that we will do? We will open the box. Under the open box, I will do some Google to identify the Apple customer care number. Okay, what is it? Apple customer care number. So we'll look into the Apple customer care number. Okay, we'll look into Apple customer care number and open that and call, saying 1-800-300-4000 something. We'll dial that number, and you start yelling that guy, hey, this is a brand new phone, not even 3 months I purchased. So I spent like $1,000 on this phone. Now this phone is not working. So is this the kind of a product that you're manufacturing? So this guy, you kind of John kind of yelling on that guy, right? So what is happening is, so the customer care is a person who provides services for the Apple. Okay, who provides services for the Apple, right? So Apple, it may be Apple or it may not be Apple customer, right? So what does mean by maybe or may not be? Sometimes if Apple have a manpower and everything, Apple itself manage the services part. Okay, Apple itself manage the services part. If, for example, like the key strategy these product based companies always follow is they don't want to concentrate more on the services part. Why? Because their main focus would be manufacturing the good, excellent product for the people. But is it possible to produce a zero error product? No, right? If a company like Apple, which spread across the globe, it has like daily 10 lakhs products being manufactured, and it's highly impossible that a zero error product manufacturing, right? So that's where when it is a zero error product manufacturing, out of 100 phones, there is one phone which is giving me problem. What happened to that guy, right? He's a customer, right? We need to do some justice to him. So that's where the services part come into the picture. And that's where the services part come into the picture. So Apple is like they don't focus more on it. So what they do, they will come into the IT market. They will come in, they publish something. Hey, I'm Apple. I wanted to come up these service based companies. I wanted to come up with your options. I wanted to provide, I wanted to hand over my Apple services to one of your companies so that you guys will support Apple customers. Okay, you guys will support Apple customers. That's what people says. What will they? Apple is like Apple come into the market. They don't want it to manage the services. They will they will introduce, they will say, I am going to hand over the services part to you guys. You guys will take care about Apple services. If anything happened to Apple phones, people will call you and you need to take a responsibility of providing a good service to my customers. Make sure they're happy. You tell me how much amount of money you require, I will give it to you. This is the deal, right? So where the companies like TCS, Wipro, Infosys, Capgemini, what does this do, right? What does these companies do? They these are all service-based companies. They don't have any product. They don't earn the money by selling their product. They don't have any product. What they do, they are all services, right? There are some big giants like Apple and Rapiscan, something like they will set up services. They will grab the services from there by convincing these product-based companies, and they support them. Okay, and they support them, something like this. So now TCS, Wipro, Infosys, Capgemini came into the picture, right? So came into the picture, and they saying, hey Apple, I have I have a big fancy office here in Hyderabad, Kolkata, Bangalore. You go anywhere in the world, I have offices, and we provide best customer support. We have some past experience, A, B, C. lot of things people will say. A lot of things people say, and Apple will customer, this TCS company won the somehow able to convince the Apple, and Apple started TCS started supporting the Apple customers. So when John called the customer support, who will pick the call? TCS person says, "Welcome to Apple. Welcome to Apple. So how can I help you?" It's actually TCS employee, but they represent Apple. Right? So that is the difference between the product-based company and service-based company. Now, now we know what is IT and what is the different types of organization like product-based company and service-based company. Now let's talk about where is this tool like ServiceNow will come into the picture, right? So what is ServiceNow first of all? What is ServiceNow? So I heard one of your participants says it's a ticketing tool, right? So where people will have issues, then people will create tickets here, right? But on a layman language, right? On a technical perspective, if I wanted to tell you, I will say ServiceNow is a ITSM solution. ServiceNow is a ITSM solution. What is ITSM solution? I want to give you an abbreviation. It is information technology, service management solution. Right? What is ITSM? Information technology service management. So what does it mean? To manage the services of information technology, you need a solution, right? To manage the services of information technology, you need a solution. What is service? A service can be anything. After sales, you bought a car, right? So you go and give it to your service center, and they will keep looking into your car, make sure your car is up and running. That is a service. You bought an AC, so every week or every month or every bi-weekly, every 2 months, you will have your AC person will come into the AC, and he will make sure that your AC will be working fine and all. You bought your bike, so after sales, anything after sales, right? So services. To manage the services of information technology, you need a solution. What do you mean by manage? Okay, it's a car. When it's a car, yes, people do check the radiator and some liquids there, and they will check the engine horsepower and everything. Fine, that's a service. And if it's a bike, same thing goes. AC, they will change the filters and make sure that the piece is up and running. So information, what services information technology will have, right? What services means. So if you bought a product, if you have a product, so you need to make sure your customers are happy. Your customers are happy. This is a one side of services, right? So you keep sending acknowledgement mails saying, are you happy? Are you comfortable with your phone? Are you comfortable with your laptop? Are you comfortable with the solution what you purchased, right? You make sure you follow up, and you make your customers comfortable. So whenever they are having issues, you need to make sure issues were resolved ASAP, right? What does it mean? Mr. John purchased a mobile phone, and he called customer support. Dude, this is a brand new phone and it's not even 3 months. My phone is not working. And if that issue solved within 6 months, after 6 months, if the issue solved, is that a good customer support? Is that a good service? No, right? If case John called today morning, and after 2 hours his issue is fixed, is that a good service? Absolutely, right? So that is the difference between a good service and bad service. You need to make sure your service, your issues raised by your customers are resolved ASAP. And you also need to maintain a track of issues. So you need to have an understanding of what kind of issues you are receiving, right? What do you do for that? You need analysis. How do you do analysis? How do you do analysis? When you have a data in front of you. Where do you have your data? Your data will be in this solution. Your data will be in this solution. So if you want to analyze how your company is doing in terms of a services, in terms of supporting Apple. What you need to do, you need to go to ITSM solution. You will grab the number of issues that we received throughout this month. You will have a list and you do some analysis and identify, oh, okay, there is an iPhone 10 is actually having more issues, iPhone 6 having more issues, iPhone 12 having more issues. After that, this is one case. After that, in iPhone 10 we have ABC issues. So you will categorize these issues and you make sure you will approach Apple. Hey guys, Apple, so we keep receiving these kind of issues. I think you guys need to make some changes in the software, and because so that your customers are happy and we don't receive much calls, right? So it's like analyzing the issues and sorting out before the customer comes to us and making sure the customer happy, right? So this is the IT. So this is the advantage of ITS. So on a layman language, what is a another simple use case for the ITS? Mr. John have called Apple. Mr. John is called Apple. Hey, this is a brand new phone again. I am having issues. So the person who sits in front of the computer and who is talking to you, he have no idea what you're talking about. His job responsibility is to make sure the customer is comfortable, right? Oh, I'm apologies, sir. My sincere apologies. Let me tell you, I will take some details about you, and let me do this. I'm going to grab your information and send it to the respective team. So respective team will approach you. Okay. Let's assume the person who is calling you, Mr. John, he is sitting in California. The person who picks the call, who sits in India, Hyderabad, or the person who need to fix the issue, who sits in London. Okay, so call is okay, but how is this which person sits in Hyderabad will send this information to Mr. person sitting in London to make sure the issue is solved? Calling, yeah, calling is a source. It's a source, but it's not a reliable source. Yeah, you can call up, saying, I'm going to call Mr. ABC. He sits in London, so I'm going to set this issue. So Mr. John have called. He has some hardware issues with the phone. Sort it out. There are plenty of chances people will forget about the calls. So, and we don't have a track on it, what is happening with it. So that's not a reliable source. Email is somehow it's a reliable source, but it's not recommended because after 90 days email goes archive and delay. It can be deleted and no security there. Chat, nothing, right? It's not a reliable source even. So what is it? So does this mean the person sits in Hyderabad, go to airport and pick up a flight and go to London, hand over the issue, come back and sit back to airport and come to Hyderabad, sitting in office and supporting? That's ridiculous. It's not a source. So then that's where ITIL, okay, ITIL has come up with a solution. You need to have an ITSM tool. You need to have an ITSM tool where what you're going to do, you will maintain a track of what issues resolved, who is going to work on it, and what is the priority of a ticket, what is happening on the ticket. Everything will be recorded over there. And no matter which corner of the world you are sitting in, and you make sure your issue, the customer issue is fixed. By the way, what is this ITIL term called? Information Technology Infrastructure Library. What is this Information Technology Infrastructure Library? We are here to learn ServiceNow and we are talking something else here. So the reason why we are talking about these things, because so you need to understand the source of what is ServiceNow. What is ServiceNow? ServiceNow is a ITSM tool. So where is this the term called ITSM actually born? The term called ITSM actually born from the guidelines of ITIL. What is this ITIL guidelines? ITIL guidelines will tell you, hey company, Mr. Apple, so Mr. Capgemini, if you wanted to follow better, if you wanted to make sure your services are being running happily, and if you wanted to provide a best customer support to your customer, you need to follow my guidelines. Which guidelines? ITIL guidelines. What is ITIL guidelines? ITIL guidelines will tell you, hey, ITIL guidelines will tell you, if you follow these guidelines, you will be able to make a best customer support. Adopt my guidelines and you are good to go. That's what ITIL will tell you. ITIL will tell you, I will tell you what steps you need to take in order to support the best customer support. So if you follow the ITIL, that's where ITL says you need to have a ITSM solution. That can be anything. ITSM solution can be anything. A bunch of solutions we have available in the market, not only ServiceNow, right? So that's where the ITIL term called ITL actually come into the picture. ITSM come into the picture. Now we understand what is ITSM solutions, right? So what is the number of solutions available in the market, or what is the number of solutions available in the market? We have ServiceNow, we have BMC Remedy, we have Jira, right? We have Jira, and we have some Freshworks, okay? And we also have Cherwell, we also have Manage Engine, okay? Manage Engine, a bunch of solutions we have available in the market, okay? Then now coming to the ServiceNow, right? Why ServiceNow? Okay, Vijay, you're saying, like, there are a bunch of solutions already available in the market. Then why people are choosing ServiceNow and why we are learning ServiceNow, right? Why we need to learn ServiceNow and why it is important. ServiceNow is playing a crucial role. The reason why, because the ServiceNow here is ServiceNow. If you look into these solutions, BMC Remedy, Jira, Atlassian, or Cherwell, Manage Engine, Freshworks, and all, they are only concentrated on ITSM. They're only concentrated on ITSM, right? So where the a ticket comes in, ticket resolved, as Ramesh said, there's ticket comes in, ticket resolved, make sure the customer is happy and all. That's our only ITSM. So why the ServiceNow, it's not only concentrated on ITSM. ServiceNow have come up with a different modules in order to serve their customers. What modules? To name ITSM, some high level modules are ITSM, which is called Information Technology Service Management, ITOM, Information Technology Operations Management, ITBM, Information Technology Business Management, ITAM, Information Technology Asset Management. Information Technology Asset Management. So, like, bunch of modules that are available here. Okay, so it talks about ITSM, ITBM, ITAM. Okay, perfect. So what is this talks about? So if you adopt all the modules of a ServiceNow will be a single point of solution for all your needs, all organization needs. Confused, right? What do you mean by it's a single point of solution for all the organization needs? You have a HR team. Let's say you are a startup company. There is a HR team and you have a finance team. Okay, you have some field workers, you have some security tool solution, you have some compliance team, you have some service desk team, right? So these, to name couple of teams, every team can use ServiceNow. There is a module called HR, they can use ServiceNow. I have an HR module, just adopt it. Fine, you don't have to purchase a new solution and you implement them again. It's just a new module that you need to adopt. Finance, yes, we have a finance chatbot, and we have application, mobile application for field one, and you have a security operations module here, right? And you have a GRC module available here, governance service compliance, IT compliance, IT service desk. You have an ITSM solution, like ticketing tool is available. So you name anything, it will be able to provide. Just a second, can I take a pause for a moment here? Sorry, yeah, I'm sorry. So, like you talk about any module, you talk about anything, ServiceNow will offer you solution. So you don't have to purchase multiple modules here. For example, for your service desk needs, ITSM will work. ITOM, it talks about orchestration, and you are talking about operations related management. It will have you modules, right? Finance and all. So, and your project this thing, where ITBM, it talks about your finance module, your project module, your resource module, your knowledge module. These things will come into the picture. ITAM is something when you have organization, you will have a lot of machines in your organization, lot of workstations, laptops, Cisco devices, right? So a lot of information you have in your hardware. So how do you control your hardware? That's ITAM will talk about things, right? So you take anything, you ask ServiceNow, and ServiceNow will be able to give you the information on it. So that's why ServiceNow is going to give you a good understanding. Now, is it only one feature that that takes ServiceNow is a high level? No. So we keep talking about, hey, it's like ServiceNow is a SaaS product, SaaS, or it's a, okay. We keep saying it's a cloud solution, right? So let me ask you this, right? If anybody can anybody tell me what is this cloud? Who is going? Can anybody give me some introduction about the cloud? What is your perception? What is your understanding about cloud? Ramesh or Santosh? Anybody? Amit? What is your perception on the cloud? Anything, any random answer, that will be fine. I just wanted to understand your opinion.
Services basically provided out of just a instance, a web instance. Usually, there will not be any physical infrastructure present uh, to access with. It will all be just virtually. We will be configuring it and bringing up the service.
So, sounds great. Sounds great. Yeah, no, you're right. Right. So, can I give you a layman introduction about the cloud? I'll just give you a very clear understanding of it, right? I just wanted to simplify the statement what you're giving, Santosh. Yeah, thanks a lot. So I will tell you what is cloud is. I am accessing your computer. For me, your computer is my cloud. If you are accessing my computer, and for you, my computer is a cloud environment. Right? It's not something that something is in the really in the cloud or in something here. No, it's something about somebody is accessing somebody's computer because there is a trust issues there. Make sense? For example, I'll tell you. I'll give you a good example here. I have Mr. David. Okay, Mr. David. David will what David will do? He buy a software called Adobe. Let's say he belongs to some Deloitte, and he wanted to buy an Adobe software. What he does is he went to Adobe office. Hey Adobe, I wanted to sell your software. So what is the price? He sell you like $24,000. Okay, just give me a software. So David bought the software, and straight away he walked to his office. go to data center, right, and deployed this software. Where is the software installed? In his office, in his own data center, right? This kind of installation will be called as a on-premise installation, on-premise deployment. So it was like, before the cloud come into the picture, this is a traditional way of installing a software. Okay. So David went to Adobe and he bought licenses. He bought the software setup file. He go to data center, open a virtual machine, and he did install the software. And all good. Now the problem with this kind of installation here is he need to take care about his deployment. He need to work on deployment. He need to install the software. Point number one. Point number two, infrastructure is his own virtual machine, right? You need to spend money on the infrastructure. You need to have a virtual machine, 8-core CPU, 500 GB hard disk, and 32 GB RAM, and it should be secure location. Infrastructure is your head, right? And security is also your headache, because that virtual machine is in your data center and it's your responsibility to make sure it is secure. And regular patches, managing the solution is again your headache, because that solution is deployed in your way, and if you wanted to make sure the server is being patched, server is being maintained regularly, that is your headache. Correct? Natural disasters. What is natural disaster? Floods, earthquakes, right? Some pandemics. Now, everything happens, your information. There is a flood coming and your data center gone. Your information is gone. Tata bye bye. That's bad, right? So, and power outages, right? Power outages, AC, the gas in the data center, everything will be your headache. Correct? And other silly but serious issue we always have with this, rats. Right? Rats will go into the data center and cut your wires, gone. Completely downtime, right? You don't know what is the issue until you go into the data center, identify the why the rat bitten. Until you know that, you don't have issue. There are, in the meantime, the loss is already happened, right? There are a lot of issues with this on-premise deployment. That's where now. So now this is considering everything. Mr. David feel like, okay, why should I go with the on-premise deployment? Let me go with what I will do. I will go ahead. This time David went to Adobe. Hey Adobe, give me your software. I'm going to deploy it. Perfect. Adobe gave the software. This time he didn't went to Office. He went to AWS Office. You know AWS, right? Amazon Web Services. It's a Amazon Web Services is a cloud service provider. It's a cloud service provider. He went to AWS Office. AWS. I don't want to install this software in my infrastructure because I don't have trust. Right? There are some issues with him. So you are being a leader in this cloud platform. Can you give me a virtual machine in your data center? I am going to deploy the software. AWS happily gave, okay, so this is give me the system requirement. I'm going to give you this software machine. Just go ahead and deploy it. Right? So this kind of installation will be called as a hybrid implementations. Hybrid implementations. Okay, hybrid implementation. So now, what is the issues with this kind of installation? It is secure comparatively with the SaaS products. What is the issue is, again, deployment is your headache. Obviously, you need to deploy your things, right? Infrastructure is whose, you don't worry about infrastructure because AWS will take care about it. Security, there is a security from your side, but AWS will also take care of it. So you have a 50-50 share on the security, right? It's not easy to hack in AWS instance, right? And managing, AWS will manage the instance, but software you need to manage, right? Software you need to manage, and virtual machine also you need to manage, right? A natural disaster, you don't worry, because if natural disaster comes in and you blame AWS, I trusted you, I gave you like $10,000 to secure the machine, and if you are saying the flood is come and information is gone, I'm going to penalize you. Power and gas, rats, no, we have no issues with this because everything will be taken care by AWS, because we gave $10,000 to him upfront. Take care about my machine, and whenever I need it, the machine need to be available. That's why we are paying $10,000. So it is kind of secure with an on-premise deployment. Fair enough. But again, Deployment is your headache, half security is your headache, and you still need to manage the software, right? So David decided, why I need to do all these things again, right? So this time again he went to Adobe. Hey Adobe, I don't want it to install the software and do my own stuff here. Why don't you, do you have something like, why don't you deploy it in your location, take care about security, manage your headache? I don't want it to do anything. I just don't want to use your software. Is there a way? That's where Adobe says, yes, we are going to deploy the software in our locations, and we'll take care about security, we'll take care about infrastructure, we take care about natural disaster. Don't worry about it, and we'll make sure your solution should be available whenever you need, right? So it's kind of, what is that? It's a SaaS. What is SaaS? This installation will be SaaS, software as a service. They deploy it, they take care, and all you have to do, come back, sit back, relax, start using the software. You don't have to do anything with the software. Yeah, you don't have to do anything with the software. Everything, they manage the upgrades, they manage the patches, they manage the security, they manage the issue. Anything related to this, they will take care of it. You don't have to worry about anything, right? So, and what is ServiceNow? ServiceNow is a SaaS product. ServiceNow is a SaaS product. So it's like, if you wanted to give you a good example, you must have know about Netflix, right? You don't upload your movies into there. Don't manage your movies into there. You don't worry about the clarity, right? They will upload it, they will manage, and they will make sure that that since you paid the 600 rupees to your, or to your this thing, they will make sure that you're happy customers using the software, right? It's a service that we are using. Netflix is a company that is providing services to you and me, because we paid 600 rupees per month to the customer, to the services, right? And another example is, simply, if I wanted to give you, you are buying a house, sorry, you are building a house. Okay, you're building a house. When you're building a house, you need a electricity, correct? You need an electricity. So for electricity, what do? You don't build a powerhouse, right? You don't build a powerhouse, right? Be just beside your home, and you grab the power. No, right? You will apply government, and government, I'm going to build a house, grant me a connection. So they will grant you a connection, and every month you will get a bill for the electricity what you consumed, right? So it's like pay as you go. Pay as you go model. What does it pay? So you paid, like, you use like 300 units of power, and pay for whatever you used. Similarly, with the ServiceNow is also the same, right? So pay as you go is something like, you use ServiceNow will auto the box give you so and so something else, and if you use something extra, so this is your bill, pay. You don't have to deploy it, you don't have to manage it, you don't have to worry about security, you don't worry about infrastructure, nothing, right? So all you have to do, sit back, relax, just install, use the software, that's it, right? That is a pay as you go. So this is how the SaaS will come into the picture. I'll give you a quick pass here and ask you for any questions. Any questions here, please?
So we are heading towards relating ServiceNow to SaaS.
Yeah, this is so the reason why we're talking about SaaS is, like, ServiceNow is a SaaS solution. So I can say SaaS solution, but you need to understand what is SaaS.
Okay.
Until and unless I explain you, it will be a by heart. You need to know what is SaaS, right?
Right. Perfect. Thanks.
Mr. Ramesh, Amit, are we good with this, whatever we covered so far?
Yes, yes, Vijay, we're good.
Hmm? Very good, very good. Let's talk about the architecture of a service now. Very important, right? Let's talk about architecture of service now. Very simple. ServiceNow is a cloud-based solution. Though we didn't deploy, install the software, but you need to understand what is architecture, what kind of architecture, how is the data flows within the ServiceNow. So this is where you sit in Deloitte office, right? And then what do? You will creating a ticket, right? So when you create a ticket, what happens? Your data will be first encrypted. Data will be first what? It will happen. It will encrypted using AES 256 methodology. Don't worry about this. This is a advanced encryption system, cyber security data. You don't need to know about this, but just have an understanding about it, right? So once your incident is created, right? Once your incident is created, the data will be encrypted. This encrypted, what is encryption? Let me put this. What is encryption? My name is John. This is plain text, right? If I write something like this, do you know what does it mean? This is encrypted. Nobody able to understand, right? So once your data is encrypted, your data flow, your data will start traveling. To travel where? To a database. You need to have a database, right? ServiceNow will have two databases always. ServiceNow will always have a two databases, right? So one is a, and what database ServiceNow use? It's MySQL. ServiceNow uses MySQL. Okay. Why do we have two databases? It's very simple thing I would like to say, right? If this is down and this will work, this is down, this will work, right? Everything will be in the ServiceNow owned cloud platform. ServiceNow don't depend on any third-party solution, third-party AWS providers. ServiceNow uses their own cloud environment. The recent news is ServiceNow is collaborating with Azure, so you may see Azure deployment soon, right? So this is a load balancer. If you feel uncomfortable with the terminology, just remove it from your mind. Nobody will ask you this, but you need to have an understanding, right? So you open your instance. What is your instance name? Something like, Deloitte.servicenow.com, right? Then data will be encrypted. The encrypted data will travel along and reaches to the MySQL database. And in the MySQL database, your information will be saved in the form of tables. Your information will be saved in the form of tables, right? Something like this. Your database will be like this. This block is a table. This block is a table. This block is a table, right? And now you must have a question like, how is this data getting moved? Not in the air, right? You need to have there is a web server called Tomcat. Tomcat web server will bring the data from your browser and move it to the MySQL database, right? Tomcat. So this is just an understanding about it. Right? This is the architecture looks like. Any questions on this? No questions. Very good. Okay. Okay. Now let's talk about the couple of versions of ServiceNow. Right? Versions. ServiceNow started in 2004 by Mr. Fred Luddy. Okay. Mr. Fred Luddy. And ServiceNow releasing their versions with the city names in alphabetical orders. With the city names in alphabetical orders. It always follows some this thing. Regular expressions like A, B, C, D, E, F, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q. Right? The first version is Aspen, Berlin, Calgary, Dublin, Reka, Fusey, Geneva, Helsinki, Istanbul, Jakarta, Kingston, London, Madrid, New York, New York, okay. Orlando, Paris, Quebec. These are the versions what we have, and Quebec is the latest. Okay, Quebec is the latest version. So why do we have so many versions? So till by Fuji, ServiceNow used to have lot of Node.js. I mean, lot of Angular, lot of JavaScript, right? The lot of things that it used to be there. So then ServiceNow realized that they started reducing the coding part, right, from version to version, version to version, right? So if you look into the Cubic, we are not even writing the 10% of the code what I have written in Geneva. It's huge. It's not even a 10% of code that we are writing, right? So the aim of the ServiceNow is to build a code-free technology. That's the whole point of why they are heading where they are heading. It's a code-free technology. They wanted to. Now the code is exists. We use JavaScript. Don't worry about JavaScript. I'm going to teach you about the ServiceNow coding, right? So you don't worry about the JavaScript is a terminology. It's a way of writing the script that we use, but we use ServiceNow coding. Though you have a good understanding about JavaScript, you again need to have come from the scratch on the ServiceNow coding. So I'm going to give you a better understanding about ServiceNow coding. I have a plenty of experience of doing it. Don't worry. Okay, that's what it does, right? So yeah, with that I will stop. If you have any questions, let me know. No questions? Did I do a great job? Usually we don't hear the questions one of two reasons. You don't understand or you understand it very well. So which one the silence belong to?
It's clear at least.
It's clear. Okay, very
Vijay,
good.
but the
Yeah,
recorded part, it will be sent to our email, sir.
your voice is breaking. So can you type, please? You need a recording of the session. Santosh, how's it? Any questions? Soumya?
So, I just wanted to know. I mean, maybe I will call you later on if I had missed something very important before I joined.
No, nothing. We're just having introduction now.
All right, thanks.
A recording session will be sent. Yes, you will get the recordings. Don't worry.
Right, perfect. And Vijay, just one thing. Before we, I mean, will you be, I mean, do we, as a ServiceNow administrator, should we worry about what exactly will be done in the, I mean, what do you say, at the back end? I mean, I'm talking about the cloud platform. So should be worrying only about the instance or the console what we have in front of us? So we will not be worrying how it has come there. So that part we will not be worrying, correct? I mean,
No,
did I
no,
make
it's a
sense?
SaaS rate. Yeah, it's a SaaS rate. So ServiceNow will
So
take care about the DB level things and all.
so we will not be worrying anything about that. It is
No,
just
no,
the
no, no. It's a
wow,
SaaS product,
and
right?
we customize things for the end users.
Yes, yes, yes. You worry about the development instances only. You don't
Okay,
worry about the backend. That will be taken care by ServiceNow in high server. We use a term called high server.
okay. Perfect, perfect. Thanks.
Okay, Soumya, how's it? Good. So Santosh, does it answer your question?
Yes, perfect. That's perfect. Thanks.
Okay. Soumya, how's it? Things from your end? All good? Ramesh, Amit? All right then. Yeah. Okay, then see you tomorrow, same time. Take care. Cheers.
Thank you, Vijay.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, take
Bye.
care.
Thank you.